morning and tech stuff. So I'm going to try and not make this coffee morning about AI. We're going to get on to AI because AI is just everything.
I just subscribed to a new newsletter
On AI?
Powered by AI. Yeah. Can't wait to read because I got a few emails from them.
Yeah.
And it's about what happens, what's new in business, in tech, and
The NVIDIA thing. See, I said we weren't going to get onto AI and we started straight away on AI. The NVIDIA thing, the video of the NVIDIA CEO talking about what is going to happen is robots running factories, maintaining factories that have robot workers in them that are building robotic products.
Yeah.
And it made me think, I've said already, it made me think immediately of the new film that's out with J-Lo in it, the Atlas one. If you haven't seen, and not sponsored by Atlas, by the way, but if you haven't seen Atlas on Netflix, you should watch Atlas on Netflix because it is some spooky, scary, it's the new Terminator film, basically. It's
in that direction.
It's Skynet, it's in that direction. I won't ruin it for you because I know you started. But the one thing that really bothered me about the film is that their connection to AI, and they use this word, this terminology, which is being coined by somebody specific, is via a Neuralink. Take your Neuralink. At one point, you'll see it. If you haven't already, at one point in the film, this is not me spoiling it, she turns to a load of them that have got the Neuralink attached and goes, everybody take your Neuralinks out because this stuff is not to be downloaded. And then hands them paper documents.
Oh, wow.
And their main question was, where did you find a printer? Right? Because they're in like 21, 34, like they're well ahead in the future, something in the future. So where did you find a printer? With ink and paper. It's weird.
It's coming, I see it, because they already are planning to use robots in BMW factory in America.
We said the last time on our last chat about robots, it's like...
Elon Musk is planning to...
we still need to go to Tesla and see a robot.
Yeah, to plan to start selling their robots by 2025.
Yeah.
So we have less than a year and a bit until we're gonna see.
Yeah, I think reverting back, the last thing I said on this subject was we have until the end of 2025 to make £30,000 that is residual, so that we can buy a robot and replace Chris. His face.
Yeah, if you think about it, it's nearly there. So. It's just a matter of time. It's going to be weird at the beginning, and I can see it like the moment when iPhone came on the market. Everybody was like, whoa, what's that? It's like, it was that whoa effect.
It was a disruptor in the market, which we haven't had. So I think we said this the last time when we were talking about hardware. We haven't had a lot of disruptors. So the iPhone was a disruptor for the hardware market. AI in general has been a disruptor for the market in general. The new AI-powered laptops with the NPUs in them will be a disruptor to the market because of the abilities that come with them. Robots at a lower cost so that it doesn't cost you hundreds of thousands of pounds to get in and start to use them. I think you said they were like $30,000, £30,000. One of those is affordable if it can do so. So if you think in manufacturing or just in a factory, right? In a factory, in the simplest factory possible that is just a distribution center. Like all the stuff comes there and it just distributes out, puts it in lorries and sends it off. You put robots in place of humans there that cost you $30,000 to buy against a factory worker's salary, which is what? 30 grand a year, maybe
much
35, maybe less.
Depends on the country, it's more or less.
Yeah.
But you think about it, the amount you earn.
Yeah.
Because they can work 30 days a month, not 20.
Your factory can be running 24 hours a day with your robots working. They have to have charge. They have to be able to power. They're not going to have nuclear reactors inside them to power them.
I think that'll be the next step that's going to get developed. Not nuclear power packs, but something that...
we have to do, in general, in the tech industry, we need to do something about
Batteries.
About power, because we're not there yet with the technology for batteries. You look at electric cars, you look at laptops, right? For us, for the small business community, you look at a laptop and how long a battery lasts you off charge. The new ones,
With electric cars, it's very simple to explain. Elon Musk explained it as well. Roughly, you don't need more than 300 miles on a car for what we do. It's very rarely. People that are doing long journeys have different type of cars. But for daily usage, for commuters, more than 300 miles or 150 miles on a car, you don't need it. That's why they don't develop it, because you don't need it.
Although China has. So that's why they all put tariffs on China's cars. So America's putting 103% tariff on China's cars.
But you know why?
The UK's putting, I think, 60% tariff on China's electric cars.
Because they are so well equipped. I saw yesterday about a China SUV that it has an engine as well that runs with petrol, but that engine is solely used to charge the batteries. So it's like an electric...
A mini engine to...
It's a petrol generator.
Oh, yeah. To charge the battery.
That's it. It's not an engine to run the car.
Yeah.
They are like spaceships compared to all the electric cars.
Yes.
And also developing an engine to charge the battery, not to run the car, it's another thing.
And it can be smaller.
Yeah.
It can take up less room. You need less fuel because a generator runs on very small amount of fuel to produce electricity to charge the batteries, which means you've got more space for everything else, all the rest of the gadgets. Some of them, I've seen some of them, and it's like everything about them is just a whole nother level.
It's a different level. Yeah. Tesla looks like a toy. With the technology that China has, it's a toy.
Yeah. But across the industry's battery power.
Yeah.
That now they reckon they might have so I've ordered the new Microsoft Surface Copilot Plus PC. Comes sometime this month, actually. It's June. I think they're on pre-order. I pre-ordered it. Their release date is the 18th of June. So any time between the 18th of June and the end of June, we should receive it. But the battery life on it, supposedly, is 20 hours. 20 hours on a laptop.
But yeah, again, when the hardware is optimized properly, like with the iPhones, the battery lasts longer.
But what did they use to optimize the hardware?
Yeah.
So it's the amount of benefits that come to the world. And again, we're going deep into the AI conversation, and that's not what we wanted to do. But the amount of things that are going, the good stuff that can come out of AI compared to the bad stuff that can come out of AI, there's a lot more good stuff that can happen by using AI. I watched a segment on somebody who had...
Can I interject quickly based on what you just said?
Go.
Usually the bad things are not advertised as much, but when they do, it's colossal.
Oh yeah.
So that's
100%.
We will have something that I think in the very near future where AI done something bad, but we do not know it yet. It's because there are too many amazing stuff. Oh yeah, we managed to do this, but there are people that are working and doing something with it that because it's not protected properly, or
it's because everybody's rushing to market.
Yeah,
because everybody wants to be the first. It's the whole thing of, so technically with anything, you should have guiding principles and regulations in place, right?
That was the word, regulations.
Yeah, so you should have regulations in place, and we have it across all industries: food industry, manufacturing industry, whatever, IT industry, everything, finance industry. You have regulations in place that you have to follow, and if you don't follow them, there's big repercussions to it: fines, court cases, imprisonment, whatever. The problem with AI is because everybody wants to get to market first. The genie's out of the box, and now they're trying to apply regulations to it, which is backwards.
Yeah.
And yes, all the AI companies might turn around and go, okay, the governments of the world have put these regulations in place. We're going to stick to those regulations. It only takes one random company to go, we stick to the regulations, wink, wink. We stick to the regulation, and in the back end, they're not sticking to the regulation, and then what they're producing gets out into the wild. And once it's out, it's out. There's no containing it. It's out and it's done. And if they do breach all the regulations and do stuff in a non-regulated way, then we will end up with, some catastrophic stuff.
The evolution of AI is in an ascending growth because there are no regulations. That's why it goes every single month. It booms.
Oh yeah, it's like there's something new every.
Imagine having a regulated body where it's like, oh, what changes do you want to implement? What do you want to do? Oh, this, okay, submit it. Somebody reviews it. It's like, well, have you tested this, and what are the implications of every single improvement that you want to apply?
Yeah.
And then that will take a while.
And then they go, no, sorry, you can't.
Find a different approach. But at the moment.
But that will stop money getting into the industry, because the more regulated an industry is, the harder it is to be able to grow in that industry when it is more regulated. So therefore that stops people from investing too much money in it, because it's really hard to make your money back because it's really highly regulated, which my brain works has two thoughts on that. Is one, I love innovation. So I would prefer it not to be restricted by regulation, so that we can the world can innovate and get as far as possible and get the amazements that we've had out of it. But at the same time, I understand, working in cybersecurity, I understand that we have to have regulations in place, because otherwise you end up with really big problems.
But yet again, the conversation takes me back to the NVIDIA CEO, where he states that a lot of manufacturing jobs will be replaced very, very soon. But yet again, because of the lack of regulations, people will end up unemployed. And think about it, people that are working in factories, some of them, they don't have high educations. And I'm thinking about those people as well. It's like, what you gonna do after? Because you've been working in this factory line, on this line for 10 years.
It's gonna be universal basic income.
Yeah.
This is gonna be the only answer. Or you're gonna go and re-educate yourself.
But I say you're 50.
Then what you're going to do in the time it's going to take you to re-educate yourself into a new industry or into a new job role, and then at that stage, what job role are you going to move into? What industry are you going to move into that isn't going to be affected by AI or by robotics or by automation or this entire industry that's sprung up, basically.
So at the moment, I'm like quite pro to have a regulated body, to try to stop.
No, I understand 100%. Much like we do in IT, we have a regulation body. We're part of the Chartered Institute of IT. It's a regulating body which gives us guidelines on how we should act as IT professionals and what we should do. Finance has the FCA. In general, we have GDPR and cybersecurity as regulations from different governments around the world, and they all have their own. And 100%, we should have some sort of regulation.
Yeah.
My worry is that they're attempting to put regulations in after the cat is already out of the box.
Oh yeah, it's too late.
It's a bit hard to put regulations in place after the genie's out. I was getting off of AI. One of the things that I was reading recently in one of the articles, and we've spoke about this before actually, is apparently, I haven't seen it, but then I don't work a lot with the new devices that come out of boxes. You guys do. We're apparently going back through the cycle of the amount of new devices. Now, we don't do residential devices as much as we do business devices, but the amount of bloatware that is now coming back onto devices. So we kind of went through a phase.
Yeah.
So for a long time, Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows 8, even Vista, Windows 8, devices came out of the box, and the hardware manufacturers have done deals with software companies to put their trial softwares on and so forth, and you turn your device on and you end up with an immense amount of bloatware which makes your machine run super, super slow.
Yeah.
And then you end up people going and Googling, what can I use to remove this? And there's I think there's probably about 10 softwares out there which are constantly being regurgitated on the net of you should use this, but I'll buy this to do it. But apparently, and then it faded out a little bit. We got into Windows 10 and we started Windows 11 and bloatware started to fade out of hardware devices. Apparently it's now doing a resurgence again, and manufacturers are now deploying hardware devices with crap ton of bloatware on them. From what I understand, Windows now has a built-in feature, a built-in piece of software to remove bloatware from your device.
It's about time.
It is about time.
If you think about it, they installed that because, for example, I saw one in Dell. The bloatware is programmed in a certain way that after a number of years, they say like, oh, your hard drive might be faulty now after 3 years. You need to get that checked. It's like, oh, careful, your hardware is imminent to fail or something like that. And if you don't know how to test it, you look at it, it's like, oh, and that it influences you in a way. It's like, oh, I have to replace my laptop, I have to back up my data, and you start spending money thinking it's like based on a notification. It's a notification, it's not the work.
Yeah.
And people will be like, oh, okay, I need to buy a new laptop. They do it on purpose because it's a way.
Yeah, so manufacturers, by general, all manufacturers say that if a IT device, laptop, tablet, PC, server, you name it, lasts you 3 years, then that is the manufacturer's specification for how long hardware should last you. And in some ways, you can see that, especially working in IT, you can see that actually after 3 years, software has come on so far, advanced so far, that sometimes the hardware can't run the software, or there are softwares produced and it's like, no, if your hardware is older than this, then it can't run because our minimum requirements are X, Y, and Z.
TPM2.
Right? Yeah, exactly. I've always said in the past, if your device is maintained 4 years, you can get 4 years out of your life, but it has to be maintained. And what I don't mean running a piece of software on it or having a piece of software on it. I mean actually having a company that maintains your device, does your updates for you, makes sure that everything is working and functioning and greases the wheels so that everything is working fine. 4 years should be kind of your limit. You get to 4 years, you should be looking at replacing your device.
But again, it's 4 years if you do MOTs on them yearly.
Yep.
It's like a car, pretty much.
Yeah,
Same as
100%.
car. Yeah.
You do an MOT on a device at least once a year. If you're not having it serviced every 6 months, or if you haven't got an IT company looking after it, and you do an MOT on it, at least doing an MOT on it, it will give you that extra length and extra bit of longevity on your device.
Yeah. Say if you've got chewing gum on the street, they just take it out.
Yeah.
Even that.
It's even that?
Even that.
What?
Wow. So we're just talking about, there's a new app come out called Kara, which is for artists and photographers, but the caveat to it is it's an AI-free platform. Yeah. You cannot upload anything that's AI generated.
Well,
so good. I was just saying to Chris, I knew that would be coming, but I didn't think it would be here already, that we'd already have AI-free zones.
It's about time, yeah.
It's now in the corporate now.
No, so...
Well, no.
Because there's a clear line between them. So if I go to a blank canvas in Adobe, right, in Photoshop, and I use generative fill to build me a piece of artwork, right, it's AI generated, 100%. An AI generated photograph, I understand that completely, should be flat with one, this was generated by AI.
Yeah.
Correct. And putting that across social media, brilliant, because then that means fakes cannot be created, right? Especially around the world at the moment with elections coming up, stuff can't be fake created because it'll have an AI sticker on it. Perfect. But if you're using AI as a tool to remove something, I've taken a beautiful picture of you, right? Lovely background, I've used all my art, but you've got a stain on your shirt, like I have at this precise moment, got a stain on your shirt, which makes the picture look not so nice. And I go in and just remove it with AI. Just all I do is remove that, and it's still getting slapped with an AI sticker. That's too far. In my books, that's too far. Because it's not an AI generated image. I've taken it with my eye, knowing my exposures, knowing my colors, knowing my position. I've taken it, and all I've done is edited it to remove something that's a blemish. I shouldn't get a sticker on it to say it's generated with AI.
Now it's a silver lining sort of decision if the algorithm decides that,
Or what it sees as AI.
It might be,
and it's how well it works as well, because it's like when AI first came out and people were generating text, and there are AI monitors on systems to be able to find out what text is generated in AI and what text is not generated in AI. Not all of the AI monitors catch that it's generated in AI. So you can upload a piece of text that's done by ChatGPT or done by Gemini or whichever one, Grok or whatever other AI, and sometimes they won't catch that it's generated by them, and sometimes they will.
But you want that label, to be honest, because there are lots of things. For example, especially for Instagram, where people think that some people are looking a certain way because they're tweaking their pictures.
But they've always tweaked the pictures, though, and it's usually been a skill of I won't say an artist, a photographer or an editor. We've seen them all over the place where before AI came out, where somebody in real life to what they look in a magazine looks way thinner, has got and I'll say it on girl magazine, got no cellulite, they've got no fat on their arms, no lines, because they've sculpted them by hand, they've sculpted them. They've always been edited, and they don't slap stickers on that to go, this photo is edited. You have to have regulation, right? There has to be regulation. But with anything, when you regulate anything, there is a fine line between where the balance is for what passes and what doesn't pass. And it's the same with slapping a sticker on something AI generated. There has to be a fine line between, and there has to be a balance of what they class as it. In the case, in my thing, if I was looking at that, I'd go, okay, if it's over X percentage of the image that is generated using AI, so over 60% of the image is generated with AI, then yes, slap a sticker on it, it's AI generated. If it's under 50% of it that's generated with AI, then 50% of it is human. So, do you know what I mean? There has to be a balance somewhere. Or I was talking about bloatware on devices. And on the new tools that are out there and so forth. What I would actually like to do, and I'd like to do it as a test, is take a couple of devices and if they haven't got bloatware on them, fill them with bloatware, right? The generic bloatware that you get, and then see what the boot times are like from a new clean machine and a bloatware machine. See what the boot times are like, see how they react, and then test some of the tools that are out there, the bloatware tools, to see how well they actually work from removing bloatware.
The boot time should be the same once you put them for the first time. No, the first time once you put, is the same because they have the fast boot enabled.
No. First time, yes. But what their boot time is like after, if you've got a device you've installed a ton of bloatware on, and a device that is a vanilla device, has no bloatware, and they've got users built on them already, and you press power, they're identical devices, how quick does a bloatware device build? Because it has to put everything into the system. And bloatware, by normal standards, when bloatware is installed, it all starts at startup. So it goes into the system tray, it starts at startup, and all that takes longer for you to get to the desktop than a vanilla.
That's true.
Because even though we're getting past where we started to move away from devices being filled with bloatware, we're getting back to now the hardware and the software manufacturers are starting to come back into filling it to put it into the consumer's hands. Because if you buy a laptop, you're a consumer, not business, you're a consumer. You buy a laptop and it says, comes with 3 months free antivirus, right? You're gonna go, oh, okay, I've got 3 months free antivirus. That's really cool, I've got something for free, right? But as we know, if it's free, you're the commodity, right? So after that, you get a pop-up. Oh, now you need to purchase £99 for the year.
And you get the
pop-ups. And you click it. And if you don't read everything, as we know, and you don't untick everything, it'll go, oh, we're also going to install this, and we're also going to install this, and we're also going to install this. And if you ignore it, you then get even if you stay on a free antivirus, which there are a few out there, you'll get pop-ups, adverts. Buy me, buy this, or from their third-party providers and associates, oh, you should have this, and you should have that, and you should have this. And it's those pop-ups and those things that then catch people out, and they go, oh yeah, I'll have that. Oh, crap, I've just spent X amount of money on something that you didn't need in the device.
Yeah.
So I'd like to do something on that just to show the people out there what the difference is and the reasons why. It's like we haven't done one in a while. We used to do it a while ago. We used to do it quite a lot, but not since we've been doing content actually. The difference between, and I have one somewhere, I think it's in a drawer behind Chris. I have a stick with lots of malicious stuff on it, right? The difference between a paid antivirus and a free antivirus.
Yeah.
Because a free antivirus will not catch half the stuff that a paid antivirus does.
No.
But people don't realize that because they go on the thing of, it's free. I can have it free. Why would I pay for it? Or they don't have an antivirus. How many business customers have I spoken to in the last 2 months that when I talk to them about antivirus, oh yeah, we don't have one of those.
Yeah, we don't have one.
We use the built-in Windows Defender.
There are lots of people doing that.
And Windows Defender, to give it its due, does do a level of protection. But it should not be your sole protection, especially for a business device. You shouldn't be using a free antivirus or just the one that's built in that comes with Windows as your sole protection.
No, you can't have just Windows Defender. That's silly.
But businesses do. Consumers do. Businesses do.
Well,
why? Because it doesn't protect you to the level. So if you pay money for a piece of software, the money that is used, that they earn from that software, is used by majority of the companies to make their product better, to make it a market leader so that it does what it says on the tin and protects your device, and therefore they're going to sell way more of it, right? If you use a free piece of software to do the exact same thing, what they're interested in doing is marketing to you. You become the commodity.
No, but what I'm asking is why can an antivirus protect you more than Windows Defender can? As long as you don't go on anything untoward.
That's very easy to explain. Daily, there are hundreds of thousands of viruses and malicious bits developed on a daily basis.
Every single day.
Every single day.
Yep.
With a paid antivirus, you have a team developing and monitoring and researching and having like AI.
Live protection. For instance, the antivirus that we use for majority of our corporate companies has an AI element to it, a live element to it that it is always studying, it is always tracking, and it pulls it. So pulls it, not pulls it. The antivirus that we use will, because there's so many of them out there, if a company, I don't know, 100 miles away, has an infection from an attempt of a malicious piece of software that it blocks, that is new, it will then spread that hash key, that SHA key, across its back end of its network so that all devices using that antivirus will protect against that particular malware.
And on the other hand, with Microsoft, yes, they do get updates for Microsoft Defender, but not as often as a specific antivirus.
And even Microsoft themselves have stated in the past, you should not just rely on Microsoft Defender as your antivirus and malware protection on your device. 100%. You should not just rely on. Yes, you can use it as part of the tools, because it is not, I've got one piece of software and that protects my device. Nowadays, it is a stack of softwares that protect your device, right? So from all different levels, because as we've said before, it's like an onion. It's layers that you layer on to protect your device. So even Microsoft have turned around and said, you shouldn't just use Microsoft Defender as your only protection. You should have other layers in place, other softwares in place to protect you.
I do have a question.
Go for
A
it.
lot of new devices that you get, 9 times out of 10, they have an antivirus pre-installed but not
free.
paid for. The McAfee.
Yeah.
I thought that was like like every person who's in IT knows not to trust it with it large.
McAfee and Norton are the two antiviruses that you should tend to. McAfee, Norton, and AVG are the three antiviruses that you should tend to stay away from because they are known to slow your device down and are known not to protect your device.
Which one? Norton?
Norton, McAfee, and AVG.
Norton had something that was mining crypto at one point.
Yep, Norton had something that was mining crypto. I had, way back when, a residential client that I went out to, and they were having network issues, they were having device issues, their device was so slow, everything, and it was a brand spanking new device. And I turned to them and I went, it's Norton. No, and they paid for Norton, right? I was like, allow me to remove Norton from your device, all your problems will go away. If it does not, I will pay to put it back on for you. I removed it from their device. Every single problem they were having disappeared.
Yeah.
Including speed.
Including speed. Because it was not consuming all the resources
quite greedy
for everything else.
But why is it still out there though? That's what I don't understand. Still on brand new PCs, it's always pre-installed.
Not all of them.
Not all of them.
PC?
Not
Well, all their PCs is pre-installed.
Yes, because PC World is selling to the consumer, and PC World's a whole nother conversation for a whole other day. Because I've got lots of experiences with PC World and curries. It's like the devil going into church when I go into PC World. My feet go on fire. Antivirus for businesses, come and talk to TCCB because we have our own security stack that we will put in place. For residentials, there's a few different ones out there, but that's when you have a conversation with an IT professional. Even as a non-business, if you're residential, pick up the phone and have a conversation. We have a residential department. Pick up the phone and have a conversation with our residential department, and they will assist you in providing you the information you require for an antivirus for a residential device. If you're a business or a commercial entity, you can pick up the phone to our team or email help@tccb.co.uk. We'll advise you on the security stack depending on what you're using and the different products you're using that fits for you and that will allow you to work. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not one size fits all because it depends on what you use and how you use your device and what you should have on your device. It's one of those, and with AI now, you need to have something on your device. You need to have something that is going to be able to battle against the stuff that's coming down the line, rather than just like pretend. I have always joked I want to build a piece of software that just has a pop-up every now and again that says, your device is okay. Does nothing else, bar than every week pops up, your device is okay. Your device is okay. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, protection is key.
Yeah, we need to protect ourselves for what's going to come.
What's going to come.
We already
circle back to AI. We know what's going to come, but you need to protect yourself and you need to not bury your heads in the sand that everything is going to be honky-dory and okay.
No.
And if you like what you saw, like, subscribe, follow on any of our social medias, reach out, have a conversation with us. We're happy to have conversations to partake some of our advice.